Imagine the year 1836, Calcutta, the capital of British India. The Ganges is busy with British ships. The colonial bungalows overflow with profits of indigo planting and extraction. British historians are writing with absolute confidence that Bengalis are a cowardly, physically incapable people with no spine. Lord Macaulay calls them low-lying people in low-lying land. And in that very year, in a quiet room in North Calcutta, a group of Bengali intellectuals sits together and creates something small, a society, a sabha, an association. They do not know it yet, but that small room, that small society, will be remembered as the birthplace of modern India's political consciousness. Welcome to Motivation Hue. Today, we explore one of history's most inspiring stories of organized resistance, the Age of Associations, 1836 to 1885. And from it, we extract lessons that will change the way you think about power, strategy, and persistence. To understand why this story is extraordinary, we first need to understand how desperate the situation was. In 1770, the Great Bengal Famine, known as Chiatorer Manwantar, killed 1/3 of Bengal's entire population. British company officers hoarded rice, manipulated markets, and allowed 10 million people to starve to death. Following the Battle of Plassey, the British had drained Bengal of unimaginable wealth, resources that fueled London's Industrial Revolution, while Bengal's villages turned to ash. And for 100 years, this economic hemorrhage continued, dismantling Bengali society layer by layer. Yet, despite all this, the intellect, the dignity, and the will to resist survived. The Bengal Renaissance, led by the towering figure of Raja Ram Mohan Roy in the early 19th century, reignited that spark. And in 1836, that spark became organized flame. On the 8th of December, 1836, the Bangabhasha Prakasiha Sabha was established in Calcutta. Historians recognize it as the very first political institution of modern India. Led by Pandit Gaurishankar Tarkalankar, the Sabha presented itself as a literary society, but its sessions were actually deep, systematic analyses of British policy and governance. And it made history by organizing the very first coordinated political protest against a specific British law, the proposed taxation of lahiras, or rent-free land. This was a small act, but it was the first time an organized Bengali body stood up and said, "This is unjust, and we refuse to accept it." Motivation Hue Lesson 1. Every great movement begins with one small, courageous act of organized refusal. 2 years later, in 1838, a more powerful body emerged, the Landholders Society, or Zomidar Sabha. Led by Dwarkanath Tagore, grandfather of Rabindranath Tagore, and Radhakanth Deb, this organization represented the landed aristocracy of Bengal. But within it lay a brilliantly calculated diplomatic strategy. British citizens like William Cobery and Theodore Dickens were included as members. Think about that. Bengali intellectuals, mocked as cowardly, were using members of the ruling class to lobby the British Parliament on behalf of Indian interests. They were using the empire's own people as their instruments. Motivation Hue Lesson 2. Know your opponent's system deeply enough to use it against them. In 1843, a new dimension was added by the British abolitionist George Thompson, whose inspiration led to the founding of the Bengal British India Society. Unlike the Landholders Society, which primarily represented elite interests, this new organization reached into the educated Bengali middle class, generating political awareness and anti-colonial sentiment across a wider social base. Then, in 1851, the Landholders Society and the Bengal British India Society merged to form the British Indian Association,
a consolidated, more powerful political body. In 1853, this organization submitted a formal petition to the British Parliament demanding reform of the Charter Act. This was the first official organized demand for Indian self-government ever placed before the British legislature. Bengali intellectuals were learning to fight on legal terrain, using the colonizers' own laws, their own institutions, their own parliamentary processes as weapons. Motivation Hue Lesson 3. When you cannot overpower the system, master it, then turn it against itself. After the 1857 Sepoy Mutiny was brutally suppressed, British propaganda worked hard to paint Indians as barbaric and uncivilized. The response from Bengali intellectuals was remarkable. In 1867, Nabagopala Mitra established the Hindu Mela, a cultural festival that directly challenged the British narrative of Bengali physical weakness. Hindu Mela incorporated wrestling, lati khela, and physical fitness into its national programs. It declared, "Bengali strength is real." In 1889, Ramchandra Chattopadhyay ascended into the sky in a hot air balloon, a stunning visual proof that Bengali ambition knew no ceiling. Motivation Hue Lesson 4. Answer mockery not with words, but with visible, undeniable achievement. Then came the era's most powerful chapter. In 1875, Sisir Kumar Ghosh founded the India League. The following year, 1876, Surendranath Banerjee and Ananda Mohan Bose established the Indian Association, or Bharat Sabha, the first truly mass political organization in Bengali history. The Indian Association fought on every front. When the British reduced the age limit for Indian civil service examinations, deliberately blocking Indians from senior government positions, Surendranath Banerjee toured the entire subcontinent, building the first pan-Indian political campaign in modern history. The Indian Association challenged the Arms Act, which disarmed Indians while leaving Europeans armed. It fought the Vernacular Press Act, which censored Indian-language newspapers. It campaigned for the Ilbert Bill, which would have allowed Indian judges to try European defendants, a radical assertion of legal equality. Each of these battles was a training ground. Each organization built on the one before it. Each protest sharpened the tools that the next generation would use. And then, in 1885, came the culmination, the founding of the Indian National Congress. The political infrastructure had been built, the networks existed, the strategies had been tested, the leaders had been trained. Historian Dr. Anil Seal called this entire period the Age of Associations, from 1836 to 1885, 50 years of patient, consistent, organized effort before the Congress was born, and 62 more years before India was free. The British said Bengalis were low-lying people. History said otherwise. Thank you for watching Motivation Hue. Subscribe, hit the bell icon, and share this with someone who needs to be reminded that organized, patient, strategic action always wins in the end, because history has already proven it.